has been an ongoing debate on whether this world, our world, is an artwork of an architect. Well, if that is true, so let's talk about how this architect might have triggered some of the most dreadful events in the world. In today's Takeaway.
Number 1. Save one life, kill million others. In 1918, Henry Tandet was a soldier for the British Armed Forces in France. He encountered a German soldier who was seriously injured. Tandet felt a kind of sympathy for the guy and decided to let him live. The two men looked at each other, and the German soldier nodded to thank Tandet. Unexpectedly, the German soldier at that time was himself Adolf Hitler. Thanks to his looks, the English soldier played a part in British propaganda paintings. Hitler managed to buy one of those paintings and hung in his office. When someone asked why would Hitler have a British propaganda picture in his office, he pointed to Tandet and said, "If it hadn't been for this soldier, I couldn't return to my motherland." And then, because of that British soldier's kindness, 60 million people were killed. Number 2. Austria's prince assassinated because of a driver. It was a bad day for Prince Ferdinand, as everyone wanted him dead. A bomb exploded near the car door where he was about to sit. Although he was not injured by the bomb, his friends and entourage were not so lucky. After such an unlucky and ominous day, perhaps it was time for Ferdinand to turn his head back. But he insisted on visiting sick people injured in the bombing. But the Crown Prince's driver was not well versed in navigating around the neighborhood, so he took a wrong turn to the hospital and eventually parked right in front of the cafe where one of the Crown Prince's assassins was sitting. That was a lucky day for the killer. He rushed to the door, grabbed the gun, and killed the prince. Number 3. An actress made Obama president. Barack Obama, the first POTUS who is with color, should be forever grateful to Jeri Ryan, the actress who cast in 7 of the 9 Star Trek movies. Barack Obama's campaign began when he was a senator, which he knew was necessary before he could run for president. Obama's rival at that time was Jeri Ryan's husband, Jack Ryan. It was difficult to tell the outcome, but because of a bit of a passion for his wife, Jack no longer had the opportunity to compete. During the election, Ryan's family divorce was leaked to the press. During a press conference, Jeri said that her husband took her to a strip club with equipment such as cages, whips, and other funny things hanging from the ceiling. Because of this scandal, Jack Ryan withdrew from the election. Barack Obama won easily. With a senator's seat, he began the next steps on his journey to becoming the first black president. Number 4. Lost the election for killing a dog. In 1933, Charles Hazard, a Texas commissioner, was fed up with his neighbor's dog because he peed on his flowers every day. So he put some shattered glass in his food bowl, which of course killed the dog. The owner of the dog was the 13-year-old Charlie Wilson, and he swore to take revenge at all costs. At that time, Hazard was preparing for the election, so Charlie went from house to house, told everyone what Hazard had done to the boy's dog, and asked them to take him to the voting venue. Charlie alone gained 95 votes against Hazard, and then Hazard failed the election. That moment inspired Wilson to become a politician. Later, the boy became a representative of Congress, and when the Soviet-Afghanistan War broke out, he changed history again. Wilson campaigned for the Americans to help Afghanistan, giving them rocket launchers. Thanks to Wilson, the Afghan army won. The Soviet Union lost, which later also led to their downfall. And from there, Osama bin Laden launched the biggest terrorist attack in history. The era of modern terrorism began just because a cranky old man killed a boy's dog. Number 5. A boy started the Iraq War. When Saddam Hussein, the former Iraqi president, stood on the gallows, counting down until his execution, he did not expect that a long series of actions leading to this outcome all began with a Cuban boy on an American ship. The boy named Elian Gonzalez indirectly started the Iraq War. The boy did not tell US President Bush that Iraq possessed weapons of mass destruction, but he was the one who got him elected. Bush was elected president in one of history's most intense contests, and he won, with the last votes in Florida. The reason he got those votes was because of Elian Gonzalez. Back then, 50,000 Cuban Americans in Florida did not vote for Bush, and only this boy sailed to the United States and submitted his vote. If this boy had not boarded a boat to the US, perhaps Bush would not have been president, and the Iraq War probably would not have happened. Number 6. A barber crowns Bill Clinton. In 1962, the young Ross Perot was waiting for a haircut at a local barbershop when he saw the book Reader's Digest, which changed his life forever. The book quoted Henry David: "The massive man led lives of quiet desperation." After reading the magazine, Perot said that this made him realize a big fault in his life. He quit his job at IBM the next morning and founded his own company, EDS. Perot quickly became rich, and in 1992 was considered the brightest independent candidate running for president of the United States. In that election, Perot was up against George Bush and Bill Clinton. He won 18.9% of the vote, and most of those votes came from people who would have voted for Bush if Perot had not run for POTUS. And it could be said that if it were not for Perot, then Clinton would have lost. If the barber had bought other magazines that day, the history of America could have changed a lot now. Number 7. A drink that cost a career. Everything started in a small bar called Stranger's Bar in the area of Westminster Palace. In 2012, a Member of Parliament, or MP, Eric Joyce, while in the bar, shouted that there were too many conservatives in this bar, and then he started punching people. And of course, the consequence was that he was arrested, but he insisted that nobody could touch him because he was an MP. After this incident, the British Labour Party realized that they had to replace Eric. The Labour Party charged £3 for each person who votes for a replacement of Joyce. A lot of people put their money to vote, and the winner was Jeremy Corbyn. Corbyn would probably never be elected without the drink that Joyce took that night. Number 8. Berlin Wall taken down by a reporter. It all started from what Gunter Schabowski did wrong. At that time, Gunter Schabowski was the spokesman for the Communist Party, and on November 9, 1989, he was asked to talk about a big change that was about to happen. He wanted to allow people in the German Democratic Republic to visit West Germany, and they would announce the start of this program at some point in the near future. But the document given to Schabowski did not make those issues clear. He delivered the exact and full content of the paper to the crowd without second thought. And for the people, this rule suggested that anyone with a passport can cross the Berlin Wall at any time. And when people asked when the new law would take effect, Schabowski flipped through the paper and couldn't find the exact date. He made a reckless guess. "Effective immediately," he said. Thousands gathered at the wall and began to find ways to overcome. The guards there didn't know what to do, so they let people pass by as well. The Berlin Wall could be said to have collapsed, and the days of separation between the Federal Republic of Germany and the German Democratic Republic came to an end. You see, everything in this world is influenced by the law of cause and effect. A small act that seems insignificant at first could bring about incredible results or consequences. What story were you most surprised with? Is there any small incident that forever changed your life? Let us know in the comment section.
And that's it for today's takeaway. What do you think? Which one wowed you the most? Let us know in the comments section below. And don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and share our video to support our next product. Thanks for watching and see you next time.